Good morning. Happy Sunday. Just stretching out legs, all the things. How are we feeling today? Sunday. It's nice out here in New York. I hope everybody's feeling good. We had like one nice day yesterday and I went out in the sun. I got some sunburn. I don't know if you could see. It's like, of course, the one day it becomes nice. I can't get it together and put sunscreen on. Anyway, today is going to be really great. We're gonna do some new things that I'm not sure I've ever done in the live streams yet. If you're new here, we're going to be using a stability ball. It's about 9 inches with a little bit of a give. You can use kind of any prop. I mean, at this point, you know, it's like we can kind of use what we have: pillows, towels, anything that adds a little bit of a give. I'm trying to think of anything else. I feel like we see each other every day, so it's so nice, you know, coming in, kind of keeping this regular and keeping everything moving and feeling nice and good. That's it. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start at the back of the mat. Today's class, 60 minutes. Let's take the ball between your ankles. You're going to plant your heels directly underneath your hips here. Just start to lift up through the abdominals. You're going to reach your hands forward and then take your hands back. So this is just a moment to ground yourself. Feel where your body is here. Feel your inner thighs connecting. Feel your pelvic floor connecting. We're going to start to bend your knees, reaching your hands forward, pressing through the heels as you lift up in the chest. So you're connecting into the inner thighs, reaching the hands out, lifting it up through here. So stretching it out and lifting it up. So pulling the core in, reaching the arms out and lift. Let's do one more. And lift. And we're going to hover in this position here with the hips pulled backwards. You're just going to do the arms. So the arms are going to move forward and back here. You're going to try to connect as much as you can into the core. Shift your weight backwards over your heels. So you're connecting a little bit more into your glutes. Still feeling inner thighs, your arm moving back. Good. A lot of core work here. You're trying to reach your fingers out past your body, kind of as far as you can go. One more. You're going to take your arms back, start to pulse your arms up. So tiny pulses up here. Your weight is still pulled back, connecting into the inner thighs. You're pressing your arms up, but you're really working on opening up the front of your chest, pulling the core in, squeezing the inner thighs. And then hold your arms up, start to bend your elbows, pressing the hands back. So you're bending through here, pressing it back. Check in to make sure you're not arching. Check in to make sure you're not tucking in your pelvis. Just starting to build some of that inner heat here. And let's do a couple more here. Good. And then you're going to reach yourself all the way up. So your legs are straight. You're going to take your hands behind your head. You're just going to start to bend your knees very slightly. Press up through the heels as you lift. So it's very slight here. Your body is stacked completely straight and you're lifting up through the core. One thing to check in is where your head focus is to make sure that you're trying to keep your neck in line with your spine. And up. One more if you can. Also try to connect into your glutes so the weight is still over your heels. Good. And then you're going to slightly bend your knees, very, very slightly. Squeeze the ball. You're going to go up and over to the right and then back to center. And we're going to go up and over to the left, back to center. So your weight is still over your heels. We're trying to be even on both sides of your body. You're trying to go up and over like you're going up and over a big ball onto that side. Pull it in. One more over to the right, back to center. Make sure you're still breathing here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're going to hinge forward. So now you're at that flat back position here. Your weight is shifted over to your heels. We're going to rotate to the right. Use your abdominals to pull back to center. Let's rotate to the left, back to center. So try not to allow the elbows to rotate you. It's the rotation coming from your core. Your belly button will rotate you here. So it's abdominals twisting over to the side, twisting over. Let's do one more over to the left. Back to center here. You're going to open up your arms and you're going to start to squeeze your elbows in. You can start to walk your fingertips to the side of your head so that you can have a little bit more range of motion. And squeeze. So still pulling the core in. 3 more. Shifting your weight over to your heels, still giving that inner thigh a little squeeze. 1 more. And then reach your arms down. You're going to take your hands back through here. Just reach them in front of you and turn your palms facing inwards. You're going to start to bend your elbows in. Reach it up. So you're bending your elbows in through here, extending through your arms. Tiny presses out from here. So you're really like zipping up your hands, extending it out. Checking in with your neck as well. 3 more. 2 more here. And 1 more. Let's reach your arms out. We're going to lift all the way up, lifting through the pelvic floor, and then start to open up your knees. So you're rotating from your hips, and your toes are going to rotate through here. We're just going to start to bend down. So you're still squeezing the ball. Take your hands behind your head. So you're lifting up through the pelvic floor here, pressing through, zipping up through the inner thighs, bending the knees very slightly. Lifting up through here. So the rotation of your toes will only be as much as your hips can actually rotate. So try not to allow your toes to rotate any further than your hips. Still squeezing the ball. 2 more. 1 more. You're going to bend it down very slightly. You're going to go up and over to the right. Use your abdominals to come back to center. Let's go up and over to the left. And back to center. Up and over to the right. Back to center. Up and over to the left. So this is a really nice way to get your hips opened kind of right away. You should feel a nice connection into the pelvic floor. You're lifting up through here, pulling the core in. 1 more. And then you're going to lift it all the way up. You're going to bend your knees, and then you're going to hinge forward as you pull your hips backwards here. So now we're in this position. Fix your toes if you need to make sure that they're not too opened. You're going to rotate to the right. Pull your abdominals back to center as you twist. Trying not to arch the spine here. And then open. Check in with your weight to make sure that it's over your heels. You're squeezing the ball from the inner thighs, pelvic floor. And 1 more. Back to center. Let's walk your hands over towards the side of your temples, kind of right about there. Start to squeeze your elbows. Open it up. So as your elbows squeeze, you're connecting deeper into the core, connecting into your glutes here. Let's do 2 more. And 1 more. Good. Squeezing the elbows in, reaching your hands forward. Let's lift all the way up through here. Start to bend your knees as you reach your hands forward. Lifting it up. So you're zipping up through the pelvic floor, extending your arms out. Very, very deep hip work here. Pulling the core and lifting it up. Releasing some of that tension that happens in your hips, some of that buildup over years and days, and a lot of things can be held on there. So let's try to really open it up here. 1 more. Holding this position, you're going to take your hands down in a low diagonal and then turn your palms facing inward. We're just going to open your arms out to the side, pull them back to center. So you can open it out, pull it back to center. So you're just doing like a slight kind of press in through here. We're treating your body as if it's in a space that's denser than air, so we're adding our own resistance here. And squeeze it in. 3 more. Keeping the core in so that you're at the forward hinge. You're kind of shifting your hips backwards, but your core is pulling forward. 1 more. And then reach your hands forward, take your hands back. Let's lift yourself up through here. Let's turn your feet into parallel. We're going to slowly roll all the way down. Let's make our way onto our hands and knees here. So taking your knees directly underneath your hips, relaxing the feet, but still squeezing that ball there. Shoulders back, elbows are going to face forward. We're going to start to shift your weight over onto your wrists. You're pulling the abdominals in. Shifting backward here, you're kind of stretching through the arms as you sit back over the ball. Shifting forward and back. this movement with your core. Think your core is pulling in and up and back. 2 more. And back. Let's do 1 more. And then come back to center here. Check in with your elbows to make sure they're facing forward. Start to tuck your toes underneath. We're going to hover your knees up here and hold. And then drop the knees down. So your abdominals pull into your spine. You're lifting up here, squeezing the inner thighs and pelvic floor. And drop it down. Starting to build some circulation. You can feel the blood flowing throughout your body. Drop it down. 2 more. Let's lift it up. Drop it down. 1 more. Lift it up. Drop it down. Uncurl your toes here. Let's find this flat back again. Just start to reach your left hand out in front of you. So you're going to stretch it out on a diagonal. Drop it down. Let's reach the right arm out. So you're reaching it out, elongating out of that arm. So we're not going to go too high today. We're just going to reach it out kind of right to about there. So you're always connecting behind your shoulders. Reaching it out. Check in with your neck again to make sure that your neck is in line with the spine. Drop it down. Reaching it out. Remind yourself that you have that ball between your ankles for a reason. So it's zipping up your inner thighs, connecting everything there, keeping your knees in line with your feet, in line with your hips. Let's extend your left arm out. You're going to reach it all the way up, parallel to the floor. Circle it around towards your hip, and then extend it all the way out up over your head. So you're keeping it parallel. You're squeezing your pinky into your hip, and then reaching it out. Check in with that right shoulder. Make sure that it's pulling back away from your ear. The inside of your elbow is facing forward. You're trying not to arch your spine here. Really keeping the abdominals pulled in. Same thing with a tuck. You don't want to tuck all the way out. Let's do 1 more. And now you're going to reach that left hand up from here. You're going to lift up in your chest. I want you to circle the arm back towards your hip. You're going to go up and over, and then back to this position right here. So you're lifting up out of that right shoulder. You're rotating over to the left. And then you're lifting up. You're going to end with your chest parallel to the floor. So you're going to find your own twist here. Whew, that one got a little tight. Up and over. 1 more. Lifting it up. And then all the way up and over. Start to drop this left hand down. Pull the abdominals in. Now we know what we're going to do for the right side. So start to extend your right hand down. And then drop it down. So we're just going to connect again back into the center of your body. And then reach that right hand all the way out. You're going to take it over towards your hips, your pinky squeezing into your hip. Extend it all the way up above your head. So same thing, check in with that left shoulder. Check in with your obliques, check in with your inner thighs. Remind yourself that this entire method is always full body, so we want to connect every muscle to each other, make sure that everything is staying supported. I feel my entire body working, for sure. 1 more. And exhale. And now you're lifting up and over to the right. So you're pulling your core in, you're twisting over to the side, up and over. Your abdominals rotate you down to the floor. So your abdominals are driving this movement here. And if your arm can't make as big of a rainbow shape here, don't worry about it. Just find your position. Up and over. Try to relax your toes here. 2 more. Up and over. Nice twist. And down to the floor. 1 more. Whew. It's no joke. Okay, let's sit back into a child's pose, stretching through your arms, really allowing your spine to stretch out through here. Start to tuck your toes underneath, and we're going to press out into a full plank here. Elbows are facing forward, lifting up in the chest. You're going to start to bend your knees as you press through your arms. Your knees stay hovered up over the ground. Open up your chest. Bending it in through here, stretching it out, elongating out of the spine. We want a nice fluid motion here. So you're constantly finding energy, reaching out of your legs, reaching out of the front of your chest. Bend it back, still squeezing that ball, making sure that your knees are in line with your ankles, in line with your hips. One more. All the way out. We're going to hold this position, do tiny pulses in on the ball. If the pulses are a little bit too challenging, you can just hold your plank. Keep lifting up in the core. Let's do 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees down. Stretch out through the arms. Oh, so nice. And then let's slowly lift all the way up. You're going to roll through the spine here. Let's separate your knees. Give the ball a squeeze. Still in that position. Lift up through the core here. You're going to reach your arms back. Start to reach your hands forward. So you can feel kind of that cardio aspect that's happened here. The blood start to flowing. We're going to continue that throughout this whole session. One more. And then start to hinge at the hips. You're reaching your hands forward, lifting up through here. So one thing to notice, if you feel like your hips are too tight to sit backwards, you can pull your knees in a little bit closer to each other. It doesn't have to be too wide to be able to feel that open hip. And lift. Let's do 2 more. And lift. 1 more. And then we're going to lift all the way up. You're going to take your arms back behind you, shift your body forward about 1 inch. And you're like, whoa, I'm almost going to fall down on my face. Lift up to the core right there. Tiny pulses back. So this is a good test to make sure that you're not arching your spine. You're trying to pull your shoulders away from your ears, staying lifted up through the core. It's extremely challenging. You'll feel glutes working here as well. And then keep your arms back. Start to squeeze your hands into each other, and then you're going to open it out wide. So you're squeezing it, opening it out wide. Still lifting up through the core. Check in to make sure that your inner thighs are squeezing the ball and not your calves, not your feet. Really nice squeeze. Keeping the chest nice and open. 2 more. 1 more. Take your hands back. We're going to reach forward into a child's pose. Stretch out through your arms. Start to tuck your toes underneath. I'm going to make sure my ball is in between there. Stretch it all the way out. You're going to press out into a full plank, elbows forward. Now your inner thighs are squeezing. Your hips are externally rotating. You're going to bend your knees wide. Press through those arms. Stretch it out through here. Bending it in. Stretching it out, elongate out through the core. Bend it in here. So you're pressing through your arms. You're thinking zip up through the inner thighs, lengthen, lengthen, lift, pull the core in, and then bend it back. So we want to keep the flow going here, but we also really want to check in with the form to make sure that you're still lifted. 2 more. All the way out. 1 more. All the way out. Hold this position, tiny pulses in on the ball. Tiny, tiny pulses. Keep the core in. Let's do 3, 2, 1. And bend the knees. Sitting back into a child's pose, stretching through those arms. And then let's lift up. Slowly start to roll up. Let your head be the last piece. You can roll your shoulders back. Let's grab onto the ball. We're going to flip your feet to the front of the mat. We're going to give the ball a squeeze between your knees and then take your feet together. So you're making like a little diamond shape here. Collect your breath. Lift. Reach your hands all the way out. Scoot here. And then scoop and roll down. Let's go 1 vertebrae at a time. Rolling through the spine. Taking your hands up over your head. Let's circle the arms around towards your hips and then start to pull the chin in and lift it back up. Scoop and roll all the way down. So you're peeling through the spine. If you're finding that the roll down doesn't feel right for you today, you can go about halfway down, or you can lay down and just practice lifting up a little bit from there. Really listen to your body. If something doesn't feel right, take a moment and get right back into it. In this position also, we're trying to train your quads and your hip flexors to turn off a little bit and allow your hips to open up so that the inner thighs and glutes can help you out a little bit by pulling your heels into your body. Scoop and roll back. And then let's circle the arms around. Start to lift up through here. And we're going to scoop and roll back. We're going to go about halfway. You're going to pull the abdominals in here. And then start to lift up. So you're scooping and rolling back. So we're kind of going to that position where you're like, oh, I feel like I can roll down, but I'm going to lift right back up again. Scoop and roll down. So you're going right to about here. And lift. This is a good chance to check in with your neck. Make sure that your neck is relaxed. You have enough space between your chin and your chest, but not too much space that you're looking up to the ceiling. Scoop and roll, think roll, roll, roll. And lift. Let's do one more. Think wrapping the legs around the ball here, trying to squeeze the back of the ball. And now we're going to just hinge back just a very tiny bit, okay? So we're not down as low as we just were. Holding the abdominals in here. Start to do some arm circles. Remind yourself that you're in that denser space than air. So when your arms circle around through here, you're connecting your triceps, your biceps, your lats, connecting into your spine. A lot of different muscles here working to keep this position very stabilized. Let's do 3 more. I'm getting bigger with my circles because I feel like that feels right. So make sure that you find your circle so that you're able to hold this position and your chest isn't lifting and lowering. And then back to center here. Let's scoop and roll all the way down. Take your hands up over your head. Circle your arms around. Also, if you feel like you can do the roll, but you're having just a little bit of trouble today, you can walk your hands up your legs also. That's totally fine. So let's find this position again, keeping the core in. We're trying not to close off here. Try to keep it as open as possible. Circle the arms in the opposite direction. Nice circles here. Circling the arms around, keeping the core in. It's full body. So even though it looks like just the arms are doing something, and if you look at the exercise, you're like, oh yeah, I can see that the core is working. But it's really every part of your body is connecting together to be able to hold this position. 2 more. And then reach your hands all the way out through here. And then scoop and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Take your hands up over your head. Circle the arms all the way around. Start to pull the chin in. Let's lift it back up. You're going to hold this position again. Relax the shoulders. We're going to take your right arm out to the side as you twist to the right. Pull it back to center. Let's twist to the left. So now you're separating your body into 2 pieces. The lower half below your belly button stays square in front of you. The upper half is rotating back to center. Remind yourself too that everybody's twists look different. So if yours is further than mine, that's great. If you feel like you can hang on to it, if it's just like very tiny, don't worry about it too. It'll start to build some spinal mobility to get you into a little bit more of a twist. The sweat is building. And let's go over to the left. And then over to the right. Back to center. Let's scoop and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Take your hands up over your head. Circle the arms all the way around. Pull the chin in slowly. Let's lift up through here. You're going to scoop and roll back. Let's take the right arm. You're going to go up and over. I want you to drop that right arm down to the floor. So now you're lifting up to the chest here. You're going to look towards your left hand, but you're going to lift up in the chest very slightly as you take that left arm up and over. And then you're pulling it back to center. So it's almost as if your spine is growing taller up towards the top of your head. And then back to center here. Let's go up and over. Back to center. 2 more. You're still squeezing that ball. It's almost no weight on that right arm, like it's more of a stretch, but not too much pressure into your shoulder. Let's lift that right arm Up and over here, shoulders drop. Let's scoop and roll down. One vertebrae at a time, taking your hands up over your head. Circle them all the way around. Pull the chin in. Let's go back up. We have to even out onto the left side. So scoop and roll here. Take your left hand up and over. This is part of the exercise too. Drop it down. Extend this right arm out. You're lifting up, getting a nice little twist. Back to center. The more lift you start to feel from your pelvic floor, the more you'll start to tap into those really, really low abdominals as well. So it's like all of this lifting in and up, twisting very slightly. And let's do 2 more. Lifting it up. Back to center. 1 more. Lifting it up and twist. And then you're going to start to hover up off this left arm. Take it up and over. Woo, so nice. Dropping the shoulders, scoop and roll down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Circle your arms all the way around. Start to pull your chin in. Let's lift up through here. Okay. All right, let's take the ball behind your shoulder blades. It's going to be like right about this position, but you're going to find the position that you can allow the ball to open up your chest slightly, but it's not too far up onto your neck. So we're going to take kind of a wide stance with your feet, but don't go too wide, okay? So we're going to start to lift and lower. Take your hands behind your head here. Ground your pelvis down so you're elongating out of the core. You can clasp your hands and take them behind the nape of your neck. Start to open up your chest here, and then do a tiny curl looking up toward your abdominals. So you're going to open it up and lift. So you're still grounding your feet down, grounding your hips down, trying to just allow the upper body to do the work in terms of movement. The lower body is stabilizing. And as you curl, try not to tuck the pelvis, like you're getting that extra little lift in your upper body, but try not to tuck the pelvis. And lift. Let's do 2 more here. Lift. 1 more. You're going to lift up here and hold. We're going to rotate over to the right. Back to center. So you're lifted at your highest point. Rotate over to the left. Back to center. Over to the right. Back to center. Over to the left. Back to center. That's that nice little twist here. Checking in with your hips every once in a while to make sure that they're not wobbling with you as you twist. Let's go 1 more each side. And over to the left. Let's open up the chest, stretching out through your shoulders for a second, and then we're going to curl up and hold, grounding your hips through here. Make sure your feet are in a really good position here because we're going to start to hover your right leg up, drop it down. Let's hover your left leg up, drop it down. So the key is to not shift your weight. It's extremely challenging. I'm finding myself shifting just a tad and having to feel kind of where that happens and maybe not lifting my leg up as high. Let's lift and lower, lift and lower. So nice, so challenging at the same time. Let's do 1 more. And drop it down. Open up the chest. And let's lift it up through here. You're going to take your arms back. You're going to squeeze your pinkies in toward your body. Take them around. Take your hands behind your head. So you're keeping that curl. You're just reaching it out, up and over behind your head. So keeping your neck in line with your spine. Keeping your abdominals in. Opening up those shoulders. Still lifting up in the core. Reach it around. Make sure you're still breathing. I'm like very internalizing this movement inside of my body, so I'm like very focused here. 2 more. And 1 more. All the way around. Open up your chest over the ball, relaxing your shoulders for a second here. Let's lift up again here and hold. So now you're going to take your right hand, you're going to just do a tiny, tiny curl up as you reach it out, and over through here. So the curl is very, very slow in the upper body, but your hips do not shift. So your hips stay in neutral. You're lifting up through there. You're trying not to lead with the neck. You're allowing your upper body really stretching through that arm. So if you can notice, I'm going just very, very, very slightly over to the side. And up and over. Anybody else sweating? Because I am feeling that upper eyelid sweat right now. And the ankle sweat. The ankle sweat is definitely an interesting one. Let's go up and over. And then last one, over to the left. So you're just reaching it out. And then take your hands back behind your head. You're going to open up your chest here. Do another little curl up, looking towards the center of your body. Drop it down. Tiny curl. Keeping the tailbone dropped here. Curl it up. And let's do 3 more. 2 more. Woo. Once you really take it out of your neck, you realize how much core it is. It's just zipping up through that center of your body. Lift it all the way up. Open all the way up through here. You can let your legs hang. Open up your chest. And then you're going to start to squeeze your heels together. Reach your hands up over your head. Take them up to the ceiling. You're going to start to pull your chin in through here. We're going to start to lift up off the ball with your core. Grab onto the ball. Reach it forward through here, and then you're going to roll it down your legs, drop your head. Take a nice stretch through here. And then let's lift up. We're going back down onto your back. So you're going to lay all the way flat. But now with the ball is going to go behind your right knee. So you're going to give that a little squeeze here. And then you're going to find this position. So this is the position we were just in again, long spine, but now your head is flat onto the ground. Your hands are going to come back behind your head. You're going to curl up very, very slightly here. So make sure that your feet aren't too close, but you can still hang on to that ball. You're going to hover that right leg up. So I was finding myself arching. Make sure your ribs are pressing down, your tailbone's pressing down, but you're still keeping control here. So you're just going to dip that leg down and lift. So down and lift. Very tiny movements through here. You can kind of do a relaxed foot. It's mostly about the hamstring squeeze in through here, so you're connecting behind the leg. It's a really great position to be in when you're trying to release the hip flexors, and you can connect a little bit behind the leg rather than in the front of the leg for your quad and your hip flexors. And then one more. You're going to lift up and hold here. I want you to extend the left leg out. So we're going to go here. We're going to tap and extend. You're going to go tap, so you're going to keep your knees open and extend. Check in with your body here. If you're having any lower back pain, you can tuck a little bit in the tailbone. It gives you a little bit more support into your core. But ideally, eventually, I'd love you to try to really work on that neutral pelvis as you get a little bit stronger. Extend it out. 2 more. And out. 1 more. And out. Let's bring both knees in. Let's drop the feet down. Start to walk your feet into the center here. You can lower your head down for a second. Give your abdominals a little bit of a break. Curl up again. You're going to take your right knee into tabletop. Find that neutral pelvis again. Hover your left leg up. You're going to start to extend the left leg out. Dip that right leg down and extend. So now we're staying in parallel. And then down. Dip and extend. A lot of abdominals here. We're still working the legs as well. We're trying to feel the length shooting out from your legs. You're thinking your legs are an extension of the core. It's like I always want to think my legs start at my ribs, so it just reaches it all the way out. We're adding a twist over to the right knee. Tiny twist, back to center, tiny rotation. So you're rotating, almost trying to look past your right shoulder. Twist. 2 more. And 1 more. Ooh. Nice. Drop that right foot down, drop the left foot down, walk your heels into your glutes, and then take your arms out into a T. All right, we deserve some bridging. Let's start to tuck and lift all the way up. Make sure your heels are in tight here. Lifting up through the waist. Scoop and roll down, one vertebrae at a time. You can press your arms down to the floor as you start to lift up, lifting the hips up high, and then scoop and roll down. Let's lift all the way up again, opening up the chest. You're going to shift your weight over to your left heel, but without shifting your body. So make sure that your weight is in your left heel. You're going to hover that right leg up, and then drop it down, all the way down to the floor. Now the weight is in your right heel. Hover your left leg up, drop it down. Let's take that right leg up, drop it down, left leg up. You don't have to focus too much on what the foot is doing. I think your abdominals pull your leg up, not your leg. So a hard point will get your quad in control here. Do more of an abdominal lift up through here. And then last one. Come back to center here. Scoop and roll all the way down. Let's take the ball out from behind that right knee. Take it in between your knees. Pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug here. We're going to grab on underneath your knees. Your feet are going to be connected. We're going to start to kind of rock up. Let's lift up through here. Really focusing on neck in line with your spine here. Lifting up through the core. Let's scoop and rock it back. Lift up and hold. Whew. Really controlling the movement from the core. So try not to build up too much momentum. Really allowing the abdominals to connect. Shoulders are dropped. Scoop and rock. And lift. One more. Rock it back. Lift it up through here. We're going to slowly roll back. Take your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Rock side to side. And then we're going to drop the feet slightly apart here. Take the ball behind your left knee. Give it a nice squeeze. Hands behind your head. You can relax your body down first. Take a few deep breaths. Remember, expansive breathing. Ribs are opening up, filling with air, and then pulling together here rather than up and down through your abdominals. Hands back behind your head. Curling it up through here. Okay. We're going to hover that right leg up. Drop it down. Just do tiny lifts here, left leg up. Just tiny, tiny lifts just to get us prepared for what's going on, get us back into this motion. We're going to go here, and let's start to switch. Tiny switches here. Good. All right. So now that we're back in here, we're going to start the exercise. So we're going to extend that right leg out, dip it in through here. So you're reaching it out and dip, extending it out. So trying to keep that neutral pelvis. Your right leg is still externally rotated, so the knees still stay nice and wide. Hands are behind your head. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. And then pull your knees back to center through here. You're going to extend your right leg out. We're going to dip it down from here, stretching it out. So keeping the hips in neutral, keeping the chin nice and elongated. Really nice. Keeping that ball squeezed there. Checking in with your ribs. Make sure your ribs are on the ground. Stretch it out. And let's do 2 more. 1 more. And we're adding the twist over to the left. So you're rotating, looking past your left shoulder, back to center. So you're rotating back to center. A nice rotation. Back to center. Woo. Sweating. 2 more. And 1 more. Back to center, dropping that foot down. Drop the right foot down. Make sure your heels are in tight to your body and take your arms out into a T. Let's articulate through the spine. It feels so nice. Slowly start to lift all the way up. Let's lift your hips up high. You can shift your feet if you need to here. And then scoop and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Dropping the tailbone down. Let's lift it up again. So now your weight is even on both heels. Scoop and roll it down, peeling through the spine. 2 more. Lifting it in and up. All the way up. And drop it down. Let's do 1 more. Let's lift it up through here. You're going to hold here, shift your weight onto your right heel. You're going to start to lift that left leg up. Drop it down. Let's lift the right leg up. Drop it down. So you're trying to keep your hips even here. Use your abdominal to lift that leg up to the ceiling. So you're lifting up. You're activating the glutes, keeping the arms nice and stretched out. And let's go lift. And then 1 more over to the right. Lift your hips up straight through the center. Scoop and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Take the ball out from behind your left knee. Take it in between both knees here. Give it a little squeeze. Take your arms out to the side again. Find the inner thighs connecting together. Slowly start to lift your hips all the way up. Opening up the chest. And then scoop and roll all the way down. And then start to lift all the way up. You're going to keep your hips up high, turning your palms up to the ceiling. Start to squeeze your hands together above your shoulders. And then open your arms out. They're going to hover up above the ground, just about a slight, like an inch. Squeezing it in through here. Reminding yourself again that we're in a denser space than air, so your arms are really trying to add some of that resistance as your hands pull up to the ceiling. And then out. Let's do 2 more. And open, 1 more. And then open your arms all the way. You're going to take your hands above your head, stretching out through your fingertips, lifting those hips up high. Scoop and roll down 1 vertebrae at a time. Take your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug. You can rock side to side. You did all that great ab work. Let's do some lower body. Focused. Ready? Start to lift up. Let's lift up through here. Pulling in the abdominals. Scoop and rock it back. Lift it up. So really keeping all that connection in your entire body here. Pulling it back. I can feel every little muscle pulling in together and really heating up, which is so, so important. 1 more. And lift it all the way up here and hold. You can open up your knees. Let's take a butterfly stretch here. Oh, we deserve it. Stretch it all out. Just roll the ball in front of you. Drop your head down. Stretch out through here. Okay, let's roll up. We're going to make our way onto our knees. So your knees are underneath your hips here. We're going to take your left hand inwards. So you're turning it inwards here. You're going to extend your right arm out through here. And I want you to stretch through the chest. So if you can see, like I'm still kind of connecting into my left arm, but I'm not stretching it through. I'm trying not to arch the spine, but still pulling in the core, and start to extend that right leg all the way out. So you're elongating, left leg out. You're elongating out through the right side. Your left leg's going to start to hover. Stretching through that leg here. Start to drop that leg down. So we're going to keep the leg in parallel first. So you're dropping it down, lifting it up, keeping the core engaged. The ball adds a little bit of instability on that right side to keep you elongated, but also keep you connecting into the entire body and not treating this as just a leg exercise. So you're lifting it up through here. Drop it down. Let's do 2 more. And then you're going to hover up and hold. Start to bend that knee into your chest. Extend it all the way out, elongate out of that leg, bend it in. And extend. As the knee comes into your chest, you're keeping your spine long. You're trying not to tuck in the pelvis. And out. Let's do 3 more here. 2 more. And 1 more. You're going to extend that leg out. Let's do tiny pulses up. I think you're controlling the leg with the core. Tiny lifts up to the ceiling. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Drop that knee down. Let's lift up in the chest, and now the ball is staying underneath your right arm, but your left hand's going underneath your left shoulder here. So now we're on to your hands and knees. Shifting your weight slightly forward through here, pulling the abdominals in. You're going to bend your left elbow. Your chest is going to come down to the floor, and then pushing it up through here. So a tiny bend and lift. Tiny bend through here. So you're keeping your spine straight. It's mostly about that left arm and your abdominals here. And extend. Let's do one more. Start to extend that left leg all the way out. So you're tapping through that foot. So you can find your left side of your body elongating even more. Start to hover that leg up. You're going to keep that leg in line with your body. Start to hamstring curl and stretching it out. So when you're curling your leg in like this, I want you to make sure that your left oblique is controlling the movement. So if you feel like your leg comes in too far and it starts to take it into your back, only do a tiny curl. 2 more. 1 more. Extend that leg out. You're going to externally rotate in the left hip slightly. You're going to tap the leg over to the left, and you're going to lift it up and then tap it down through the center. So my left hip is externally rotating and tap. So you're tapping to the left. So my upper body is trying to stay parallel to the floor, but the leg and the hip is just slightly open. And then up. Whew. Challenging. So your body's in 2 different positions here. Let's do 1 more. And now you're going to hover that leg up. I want you to bend the knee in so you're keeping that hip opened up, in and out. So that left hip stays open, but the leg is kind of pulling in towards your left side. Extend it out. 3 more. 2 more. How are your obliques feeling? Mine are on fire. 1 more. All the way out. Drop the knee down. Let's take the ball into the left hand. Roll it all the way out. So you're stretching through that left arm. Taking your right hand underneath. Let's get a nice twist over to the side. Whew. And let's lift it all the way up. We're going to go right over to the other side. So let's go. You're going to take your right elbow down. Your left arm is extended all the way out, so you're stretching through that side of your body. Pulling in the abdominals, start to extend that right leg out, lifting up through the core. You're going to hover that leg up, keeping that hip into parallel here. So we're trying not to externally rotate the hip. Just drop it down, lift it up. So you're dropping it down, elongating out through the spine, keeping your core engaged. Try to still find the center of your body so your abdominals have to connect on both sides. Drop it down and lift. Let's do 2 more. And lift. 1 more. And lift. Start to draw that knee into your chest. Stretch it out. Check in with your neck again. Now is a really great chance to make sure that your neck isn't lifted like this. You're really elongating out through the back of your neck. Bend it in. Stretch it out. And out. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. Extend it all the way out and hold. Tiny pulses up. Tiny, tiny pulses to keep the whole body engaged. Let's do 3, 2, 1. Whew. Drop that knee down. Let's lift up through here. We're making our way onto our hands. Our hands are underneath our shoulders. The ball is still underneath that left arm here. Planting your knees directly underneath your hips. Shifting your weight forward very slightly, connecting into the core. Start to bend that right elbow down and press it up. Tiny, tiny bends. Checking with your elbow. Make sure the center of your elbow is still facing forward. Let's do 2 more. And up. 1 more. And then you're going to extend that right leg all the way out, stretch through that right side of your body, start to hover that leg up, find your center position here, start to hamstring curl, stretch it out, hamstring curl here, stretching it out. Whew. Pull it in, keeping the core in, make sure that your oblique is controlling this hamstring curl. One more. And then you're going to externally rotate from that right side. You're going to tap it over to the right, and then open that leg up, tap it down. Let's go tap, back to center, and tap it down. So shoulders are back, that hip stays nice and open. Up and over, tap, and down. Two more. Woo, sweating. One more. And then you're going to hover that leg up through here, bend the knee in, stretching it out, bend the knee in, elongating out through that leg. Make sure your shoulders are staying out, back, abdominals are staying in. Next time, have a towel really handy, all the way out. One more. And open, drop that knee down. Woo. Okay, take the ball underneath your right arm. Stretch it all the way out. Let's take your left hand underneath. Let's get a nice twist over to the right. Take some breathers. And then let's lift up. We're going to take your hips up on top of the ball. Let's lay all the way down. We're going to do leg inversions here just to get some circulation happening in your legs. Lift your hips up. Drop the tailbone on top of the ball. The ball's not going to be too high on your back. It's going to be right where your tailbone is so that if you reach your arms around, you can hang onto the ball, but you're not really touching your fingertips together. So take your right knee into tabletop. Left knee in. Let's extend your legs up. Give them a little wiggle here. Pointing the toes, you're going to externally rotate, so heels together, toes apart. Open your legs out to the side of the pointed toe, flex the feet, squeeze it in. Opening it out to the side, flex and squeeze. So you want to keep this nice and controlled. You can also take this as big as you want, as long as your hips stay in neutral. Point it out, flex and squeeze. Two more. And squeeze, one more. And squeeze, let's flex your feet, open about to the side, point the toes and squeeze it in. Try to relax the neck, relax the shoulders. Still trying to keep your body lifted up through the core, so you're trying not to sink through the center of your back. You're still using your abdominals in this position. One more. And you're going to take your legs into parallel, bend the left knee, reach out through that right leg. Let's lift it up, let's go the opposite side. Stretch it up. So you're elongating out through the leg, lift it up, keeping the core in so you're not arching your spine. And then drop that right leg all the way down. Take your left knee into your chest, give it a nice pull here so you're stretching out through that right hip flexor. Let's go over to the other side. Pull that knee in here, stretching it out. Dropping the feet down. Let's lift your hips up off the ball. Slowly roll the spine down. You can place your prop off to the side. Lay your legs out flat. Take your right knee into your chest. Cross the right foot past your left side of your body. And then give that shape a little pull in towards your body so you're pressing your right hip down, getting a piriformis stretch on that right side of your glute. And then cross your left hand past your right knee. Let's twist over to the left, looking over towards your right hand. And let's flip sides. Let's take your left knee into your chest, cross the left foot past your right side. Give that shape a pull in towards your body. Cross your right hand past your left knee, twisting over to the right in your lower half, looking over towards your left arm. Let's come back to center. Pull both knees into your chest. You can grab on underneath your knees. Start to rock up through here. Let's lift it up. Hold this position. You can pull your knees in tight. You can almost stretch out through your back. Slowly start to drop your feet down. Let's take a butterfly stretch. So opening up your hips. You're going to reach your hands out in front of you. Take like a wide V. Reaching out through those arms. Start to walk your hands over to the right, stretching through that left side of your body. Let's go over to the opposite side, stretching through that right side of your body. And then we can extend your right leg out. Keep your left leg in. If you have your ball nearby, grab onto it. You're going to take it into your right hand. Go up and over to the right, stretching out here. Lift it up. Let's do one more up and over, and then you're going to twist down to the floor. Take your left hand on the ball, stretch it out. And let's lift. Let's go over to the other side. Up and over. And lift. And up and over. You're going to twist down to the floor. Take your right hand on the ball. Your left hand can grab onto your foot for a little bit of a deeper stretch here. And then let's lift up. And you did it. 60 minutes, full body. Love you. Thank you so much. Hope you all feel super, super good. Thank you for joining, as always. That one threw a whole bunch of new stuff that we've never done in these live classes, so I hope you all enjoyed that. I'm nice and sweaty, kind of ready to keep going. I had like a ton of dairy last night, so I was feeling a little like, whoa. So I feel so much better. I love you all. I will be posting a schedule for the week today. I think there's like a couple new things in there, you know, all the things. Thank you so much. I love you all. I appreciate you all so much for being here, for me, for yourselves, for each other, and keeping this all going. And it is super, super special. And I'm so, so thankful. And I love you all so much.